The famous renown on which the Prince of Wales made his world tour receives another royal visitor today. Greeted by the Iraqi national anthem, King Faisal steps aboard the acting flagship of the home fleet, lying off Torquay. Rear Admiral W.M. James conducts the King of Iraq over the battleship. He views the turrets of 15-inch guns, walking the deck from the bows. From the control top, he gets an elevated view of the ship's activities. The King is a cameraman in his own right and turns his lenses on Movietone. Before departing, he wishes the renowned good luck.
I am very pleased with which I seen today, and I wish the Naraon good luck.
King Ghazi of Iraq is another flying monarch who pilots his own plane. In point of fact, he has more than one plane, but today he is flying the small, fast Percival Gull which he bought in England. Very suitable for aviation is his country of Iraq, formerly Mesopotamia, and the king sets a progressive example to his people.
Further east, a historic day at Basra, where one of the finest airports between London and Singapore is to be royally opened. It is ideally situated on the river Shatt al-Arab, and giant flying boats can moor alongside the terminal buildings in which stands the bust of King Faisal. King Ghazi of Iraq arrives by launch to perform the inauguration. Himself a pilot, His Majesty has greatly facilitated the completion of the airport by his interest in aviation.
King Ghazi of Iraq was fatally injured when his car, which he himself was driving, struck an electric light standard near the palace in Baghdad. Less than a week before this unhappy occurrence, His Majesty performed the opening ceremony of the Cut Barrage, which is a dam across the River Tigris for purposes of irrigation. King Ghazi was educated in England, and he was only 27 years old. He is succeeded by his 3-year-old son, Emir Faisal.
The Duke of Gloucester arrives in Baghdad to represent the Queen at the enthronement of King Faisal of Iraq. Crown Prince Emir Abdullah, who has ruled the land during the young king's minority, accompanies the Duke from the airfield to the center of the capital. Later, the King and the Crown Prince's uncle arrive at the Majlis, the Houses of Parliament, for the actual enthronement. The Duke of Gloucester enters the building. The 18-year-old king, at his inauguration ceremony, will become the third reigning monarch of modern Iraq. Wearing the uniform of Field Marshal, the king enters the chamber to address the assembly of delegates of 33 countries and to take the oath of kingship. King Faisal, who was educated at Harrow, became king at the age of 4 when his father, King Ghazi, was killed in a road accident. During his speech, the young king asks his people to unite in support of him for the welfare and prosperity of the country. The Duke and the other guests leave as the ceremony ends and the king makes his way from the Majlis to receive a loyal greeting from all who have gathered in his capital city. With the Emir Abdullah by his side as always, Faisal assumes the kingship of a young and vigorous state, struggling to modernize herself without sacrificing the great traditions of culture and social grace, which are part of the Arab heritage.
An important occasion in Morocco, the visit of King Faisal of Iraq. His Majesty was welcomed by the Sultan, his son, and members of the government. The drive through Rabat evoked an enthusiastic reception from the Moroccan people. Presently, a halt was made for the offering of milk and dates. It's just an old Moroccan custom. The Sultan's summer palace of Riyadh was visited in the evening, and here another ceremonious welcome was extended to King Faisal, who dined with the Sultan. Floodlighting was a feature of the brilliant celebration that followed. Rumours of romance between King Faisal and the Sultan's daughter, Princess Layla, have been denied, but they still prevail during this royal visit.
King Faisal of Iraq arrives at Baghdad airport and is greeted by his uncle, the Prince Regent. The 17-year-old king has been away from his country for some time, and now most of the 550,000 people who live in the capital turn out to give him a great welcome home. Once again, by the king's side sits his uncle, His Royal Highness Abdulhamid Ilah, who will continue to give wise advice to the popular young ruler of Iraq.
The Queen and her family come to Victoria Station to meet King Faisal of Iraq and his uncle, the Crown Prince, who are here on a state visit. The Queen's floral pattern summer frock and straw hat, the Duke's uniform of an Admiral of the Fleet, and their guest's cream and gold tunic lend brilliance to the somber station as King Faisal meets the Queen Mother and Princess Margaret. The Duchesses of Gloucester and Kent are presented to the King and his uncle. Next to be introduced are Sir Anthony Eden and members of his cabinet, followed by civic leaders and the heads of the three services. Introductions over, the young king leaves with his royal hostess for the state drive to Buckingham Palace. The The visitors are evidently enjoying their welcome, and as they step into the sunshine of the station forecourt, they find a crowd of ordinary Londoners ready to add their welcome behind the scarlet ranks of the Guard of Honour. Greetings to the sovereign of a kingdom which, in the Queen's words, has become the model of a modern state, built on ancient and famous foundations, and confidently facing towards the future.
My Lord Mayor, Aldermen and Commons of the City of London, I regard it as an honour paid to my country that you should receive me at Guildhall. These ancient walls remind us of your glorious history and your long tradition of civil liberties, of which you should be justly proud. To take this opportunity to acknowledge, on behalf of my government and my people, the important part which the City of London is playing in the ever-expanding economy of my country. Iraq is today a large buyer in our part of the world of British manufacturers. But as our development program is gradually implemented, there will be an ever-increasing demand on our part for your manufactures and for the skill of your people. I assure you that we look forward to such a prospect of even closer collaboration between us in the economic as well as the political field in these promising days in my country's history. Please be assured of our gratitude and appreciation.
King Faisal of Iraq pays a visit to King Hussein of Jordan. The two Arab sovereigns, who are cousins, have much to discuss since the recent union of their countries. And in Amman, a special parade was laid on for the royal visitor, a parade of Jordan's military equipment and the discipline of the army. With Egypt and Syria forming what might be described as a rival bloc, with a dangerous crisis developing in Lebanon, and the whole Middle East situation still explosive, it was natural that the two kings should lay emphasis on the strength of their forces.
Amman. The alignment of Arab blocs in the Middle East continues with news that King Hussein of Jordan and his cousin King Faisal of Iraq have united their countries in an Arab federation. The monarchs will retain their kingships in their own lands. The meeting of the young kings in Jordan followed swiftly on the completion of President Nasser's United Arab Republic.
From Baghdad come pictures of the royal palace, the scene of the brutal murder of King Faisal and the royal family that plunged the Middle East into world headlines. Baghdad reports that a mob tried to wreck the palace. The new Iraqi regime is already represented at its embassy in London. Colonel Abdul Qadir Faik, the senior assistant military attaché, has taken over as the strongman.
A model of the new palace which was being built for King Faisal of Iraq in Baghdad, but was far from complete at the time of his assassination. Naturally, a high cost was involved. You can't very well build a palace on the cheap. Planned in the grand manner, it would have been a fitting residence for the young sovereign, ruler of a rich land, where in fact much of the oil revenue was spent on national development schemes. It's reported that the new Iraqi government intends to complete the work. It hasn't yet decided, however, what use it will make of the magnificent building. The swimming pool was only one of many attractive amenities included in the original plans. Now it's a palace in Baghdad without a king.